Yes, hello and welcome yet to another episode. As we have said, this month is a special month and weekly episodes are igniting. And today we have another amazing, phenomenal guest that is doing exploit in her field of work. She is no other person than Mrs. Kumbale Goode-Akigbogun. This one is a special one. She is one that is a distinguished leader in the technology industry and one that I admire so much for the amazing work that she's doing. She's a mentor to women. You will hear her speak. Let me just go into. She is the current CEO of the Table is Soft. She is a company, actually, I love Table because it's one of the companies that I use to actually send money back home, which is fast and reliable. She's an excellent, this one is, she's also has an experience of 7 years experience in product management and quality control at Insys Global. She has gained valuable experience in project management, financial management, report writing during the 3 years that she and National Grants Officer for IOM. I tell you, she is loaded. She is one with great experience. Kumbale holds a bachelor's degree in computer science from the University of the Gambia, a master's degree in international technology and management from the University of Warwick in England here. She's also happily married to Mr. Jeremiah Akigbogun, a brother of mine. Her commitment generally to innovation and leadership qualities. This woman is exceptional, humble, one that has a great heart, and including she also mentors young women. It's an honor and a privilege to have you here, Mrs. Akigbogun. I'm not pronouncing Akigbogun. Am I pronouncing it?
Akigbogun, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for joining us. It's actually an honor to have you. So, I sometimes I feel like maybe I'm just kind of rushing the introduction. I just want you to just tell us more about Mrs. Kumbale. You're doing exceptional work. Thank you for all that you do.
Thank you so much. Thank you for that introduction. I don't think there's much more I can add because you did perfectly well. But yes, as you mentioned, I'm married to an amazing husband. I am currently the CEO of Tablesoft, and you happen to be one of our clients, as you said. It's exciting to hear you say that our services are working well for you. So thank you for working with us. I'm also the founder of Kresh. It's a natural skincare line. We've taken a break, but hopefully in the next year we'll come up better and stronger. And but yeah, that's pretty much the an additional introduction to what you've already said.
It's amazing because now you've mentioned Kresh, which I'm like, how did I miss that? Because I know the work that you've been doing, and I've used one of the soaps, and it's amazing. It was really good. I know you say you're taking a break, which we will come back to, but like before, just one thing that I'm also like, your work, how you started, like even your journey in your faith, how has all of these ignited to the exceptional person that you are? Like, how did your journey begin basically?
Yes. So I was born, of course, into a Christian home. But one thing I've learned is being born into a Christian home does not define your walk with Christ. And that's something that I had to figure out later on. So I would say I was a churchgoer and not necessarily a believer. And so my walk with Christ has been interesting. One thing I do recognize is his presence in my life throughout, the presence of God in my life throughout. Like I remember even in primary school days, I know everybody would say, exam time, everybody would be fretting, praying to God that you that you excel in your exams and things like that. But I can clearly remember just experiencing a different level of connection during those times, and I would constantly pray for wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Even as a kid, I didn't know what I was praying for. I didn't understand it, but I would constantly just pray for that. Oh, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. The definition of it was not clear to me as a kid, but I just now as an adult, I appreciate the importance of that prayer over myself. I don't know if that makes sense.
It does.
But I see myself now, even in my place of work or even in other areas, how that prayer manifests itself now. So it's still strange to me when people introduce me in certain ways. Like it seems like it's like an out of body experience because I can't. But I know every moment that particular prayer as a kid. Imagine praying that whether kindergarten, primary school, high school, but not even understanding the magnitude of praying or wisdom, knowledge, and understanding as a kid. Like, but now I understand. It's like now I'm seeing the fruits of that prayer that I did as a kid. And but my journey with my faith has been up and down. And it was more so down in spaces where I felt I wasn't where I should be, or God did not present himself in a manner that I thought he should or I expected him to. And again, as you grow in your faith is when you realize that your relationship with God is not God is not a wishing well. Just because you want something does not mean that's what you need. And that's just because you pray for something continuously does not mean he has not answered. And sometimes his answer is not what we expect. One thing that I've learned from Shiloh over the past year is when Bishop David Oyedepo mentioned that God answers all prayers, and then he kept quiet, and I'm like, does he? And then he added, even no is an answer.
Wow.
Wait is an answer. And that struck me so much because I think we've made ourselves to believe for so long that the only way God answers prayers is by saying yes. But no, saying no is also an answer, and saying wait is also an answer. So my faith with him has been up and down. But at this present moment, I have not felt a deeper connection with God ever than this particular moment, especially in the last year. Because so many things have happened, whether with my career or mentally or just physically. But my faith in him has been this year, the past year, I'd say the past 12 months. The personal relationship that I've had with him has been different because this past year, or I'd say the past 2 years, what I've really been working on is to know him personally. It's not that I did not know God. I've known him as a congregation. I've known him as a fellowship. I've known him in groups. I've known him with 2 or 3 gathered. I've known him with other people. But I got to a point where I needed to, it was a hunger. I can't even explain it. I needed to know him for myself. And I'm still on that journey. I'm not there yet. I'm still on that journey. But I needed to know him personally. I could not know him through other people. I don't know if this makes sense. But I just needed to do this with him by myself. And it's so interesting that when certain things happen to me, things that I know that would break me normally, and I hear his voice through scriptures that he drops in my spirit, it just makes me want to cry in those moments. But it's also so soothing to feel him during those moments, because it's just, I'm getting there.
I'm amazed that when you said, when you started as a child, the prayer that you prayed, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, and how that prayer, you might not have understood it and how it guided you. But now growing up and now coming with that connection, because when you were saying, does that make sense? It's more like I'm so much relating to it, because it's like when you start knowing him personally, there is this, it's outside, like you said, it's not congregation. You have known him in a congregation, you've known him everywhere, but just knowing him personally is just, it's that soothing voice that you're like, how come I didn't seek this even more? I don't think, like you said, it's like, I'm not there yet. I don't think it's the place where you say you have arrived.
Exactly. I think that's.
I don't think anyone. I think maybe someone would say, "Oh, big man of God might have." No, I don't think anyone can ever.
Is ever there.
No.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
So,
but I think the beauty is in constantly just searching.
Yeah.
Because I think if you, like you said, you don't think anybody is ever there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if there's anybody that says they're ever there, then what else would they do?
Mm-hmm.
So it just keeps, you're very right. No,
I'm just already like, I know someone will listen to this and we have not even entered into everything else, and we have already.
I know.
It's just beautiful. Like, now I'm looking at it like, because holding on that, and the fact that you're now, like you said, this is the best like year, in a sense that your connection with him has not gotten any, like, it's the, because that to me is that fulfillment, and that I'll put it there. And now we move to the next line of because you are one person that is inspirational. Not just the inspiration, the way you carry, like, someone can introduce you in any form or facet. Your humility and how you still carry yourself is one that is, you are approachable, you are an exemplary leader. You just don't lead, you lead with an example. So, which is just amazing. And let's start with, you said Kresh is on hold like that. Before I go to Taybullpay, I say, like, with Kresh, like, how did that idea come about? Like,
I know. So it started actually in 2019, Kresh, and it started at the time where I just thought, so the idea was bigger than how it came out as. But basically, during my time in uni, I was doing research on a project also. It was on a project or something, or I was just reading randomly. I can't remember really how I got into that deep of the internet.
Yeah.
But I just started researching and realizing that there are so many natural ingredients that can be used to make somebody's life better, basically, in essence. Whether it's the things that we eat, the things that we apply on our skin, the things that we drink, things like that. And the more I researched, the more I realized that most of these were available in Gambia. Whether it's the moringas, whether it's the neem leaves, whether it's the aloe vera, whether it's the lemongrass, whether it's like, there were so many things that were available online. And it's funny because a few stores that I had went to, whether it was grocery stores or pharmacies, I started seeing bits of, I don't want to say Africa, bits of Gambia in these shops, like the moringa that I mentioned. I saw a store selling moringa leaves and the seeds and the peels. I'm like, wait, we have tons of moringa trees in Gambia. What's happening? And then you start seeing neem, and then I even went to a store and saw what's this fruit called? Koni. I don't know if you remember Koni.
Oh, yeah.
Coconut. Yes.
One that has the corners.
Yes, with the jelly in. I saw it on the shelf. I'm like, what is happening?
You kidding me? God was trying to show you something, like.
And I'm like, these are things that we have here in abundance, but we just bypass. And there are things that can help people, whether it's in terms of their health or whether it's in terms of their skin. And at that particular point, I don't think talking about natural skincare or organic goods were that much of a talk in Gambia. So when I came back home, the initial thought was, how can we use these herbs that we have as medication? But of course, I'm not a doctor. I'm not in the medical field, so that was unknown territory to me. I actually approached a few people that were in the medical field. I'm like, have you ever done studies on these herbs and how they can help? And really, my goal, because my dad then had diabetes, and my goal was like, I know how much my dad would spend, for his meds, and just even if it's not money, but the time that he would spend going to the clinics, like sometimes spending there the whole day. And I'm like, is there no herb? I'm sure it exists, but this again was an ignorant girl talking.
Yeah.
Is there nothing that is homegrown that can help? But unfortunately, it's not an area that is regulated in Gambia or that much discussed. So I thought, okay, what other way can this work? And the other thing was skincare. And then I started researching, okay, what the effects does all these soaps and lotions that we use have on our skin and yada yada yada. The more I research, the more I'm like, you know what? There can be natural substitutes to these that are beneficial for your skin and that will still do the same work as other soaps, but with additional benefits. So that's how I deviated from the whole medical, I don't know if I should call it medical or what.
Medical interventions and all of that, yeah.
Exactly. And I'm like, you know what, let me invest in this. And then maybe, who knows, maybe there might be somebody else that can pick up this area of research and see how, that can be done anyway. But long story short, I did a training here in Gambia to learn how to produce soaps, organic, natural soaps. And then I used that basic knowledge and I started playing around to create different versions of the soap. So I actually started with turmeric, moringa, milk and honey soap, oats and honey soap, shea butter soap. So I started with all of these, but then started shrinking it down to be more manageable.
Yeah.
But the beauty about the soaps that I created is all the products. I needed to make sure that all the products had aloe vera in them, because aloe vera is something you can see every house has.
Yeah.
So I wanted ingredients that you can easily access here in Gambia. And that's how I started reducing the range of products that I was offering down. And then we started introducing other things, lotions, oils, and things like that. But yeah, that's how actually, I don't think many people know about the origin of that, but that's how Kresh came in. We spent the first year, I think, just testing and playing around. And then, yeah, after that, we just moved on.
Because honestly, like with Kresh, because I've used one of the soaps which I really liked, and I think the soothing part of it was like the soap is so, to me, to my own skin, it was kind of soothing and very nice and like soft to kind of use, because I have a very sensitive skin. So
exactly,
it's just the initiative, even where you started, the fact that there was always a need to bring change, bring a transformation, to help, to make things better, to make things more natural and less medicated in that sense. So it's just amazing that this is just Kresh. I'm not even come to table yet, because it's just, anyone listening will know that, and how you actually even speak in terms of the grace that you speak with and the humility to just say that everything that you're doing, there's always an agenda to actually for humanitarian good, which is just exceptional. So now let's go to table, because I'll go to the other topics that I want you to discuss on, because I'm like, really Kresh, table, like let's go to table first before I go into the other parts. So like with Taybullpay, because I found out about it, I think it was one Sarah Gillen actually was the one that first told me about it. I was like, okay. She said, you can download the app. I'm like, what? And when I first used it, I was like, yay, I found something that works.
Sarah at this point is an honorary ambassador.
Nah, she's the one that actually introduced me to Taybullpay, to be honest. So it was a lifesaver for me, because I don't really like the stress of having to go to this website, this and this. I just like doing things easy. So that was good. So tell me, how did Taybullpay come?
Yes. So I started working in Table in 2022. That's when I joined the team. And for me, really, one thing that I've learned to appreciate over the years in the different places that I've been employed is it's important to buy into the vision of the company. And that's what drew me to Table in the first place. So it's funny. The role actually fell on my lap, is what I would say. I didn't even, but yeah, the role basically fell on my lap, and when it did, I met with the founders, and just the vision that they had for the company, it became personal for me too. And like you said, almost everything I do, there's always an agenda or some sort of effort behind it. And when I heard about the vision, I feel like I just had to do it. I was scared, I would say, getting into it. I'm like CEO of a company, it seems like a big, it is a big role to carry. But I'm like, you know what? I've learned to recognize when God has placed things on my path, and I got into that. So it was from 2022, and I'm still there. The team is growing. Like you said, you're one of our subscribers. So Tablesoft is the company, and one of our main products in Gambia is Taybullpay, which is the digital wallet and payment solution.
Yeah.
So that's the service. For those that are listening that don't get what you're referring to, that's the platform that you have been using. And the company existed about a year or two before I joined the team. But again, it was more on the groundwork, just getting some of the base research done, which is, again, something fundamental for me, because they didn't just get up and start a company. It was based off of a need that existed, and that's why the company came into existence. So yeah, it was for me, it was a no-brainer to start. I mean, the team is amazing. The product that we offer is amazing. I personally... again, people will think I'm biased, but it's the best digital wallet that you have in Gambia. So yeah, if you're listening and you're not a subscriber, this is your chance.
It's honestly, I'm not like, because I'm here back in UK, and I'm like, it's so easy for me, and the fact that I can be able to, if there's something wrong, there's always a way that, this transaction that you did, there's something wrong that you did, go and check it, do this. So it's like, it's a reliable, so I'm at rest and at peace, like I can just do this just on my bed, just like that. Okay, something urgent might have happened back home, and I'm like, I don't need to worry. So it's exceptional. Thank you.
And I think for somebody like you, I know your favorite service is just sending directly to bank.
Yes.
Because you use the remittance. So people will send for cash pickup and the like. But I know from experience that your favorite service is just sent to bank. You don't even...
I don't even want the stress of, this thing didn't work.
Pick up
No.
But yes, that's one of our favorite features that we have, the send to bank. So whether you're in the diaspora or whether you're here, we have a network of over 500 plus locations in Gambia that people can go pick up, but they can also use to top up their accounts and send to bank. So there's so many facilities that are on there. I wish we had time to go through each of them, but just download and reach out to me if you need any help.
Because like I said, all of these would be on the description box. Like you can see it on the description, where you can find Taybullpay, Kresh, all the things that like but don't just listen. Try as much as possible. Not try. Actually do the needful. Subscribe and just try and use the service. You won't regret it. Take it from me. I'm one person that I don't really like anything stressing my life. So. But so going down now to the challenges that you faced, because one, I'm a Gambian, you're one, and I know a country is beautiful, nice and everything, but I'm not
but
there are a lot of things that can discourage one when you start, even like Kresh. Being a CEO, because the name a CEO is something that people term as, she has arrived. The term as, Kumbale is now a millionaire. To make Kumbale now, there is so much the
expectation.
I'm like, the definition of how someone would see you now is, and not forgetting that you were in a place of service. Like, service is what we render first, then first financial gain. So, like, what were the challenges, and what were the things that you faced generally?
Yeah, so challenges in my area of work.
Yeah, both Kresh and Table. Like, let's start with Kresh. Like, what were the challenges?
I think the main challenge is usually acceptance. So unfortunately in Gambia, you can't grow, but it's faster if your network exists. As they say, your network is your net worth. That is very true. So I think the first is acceptance. I know one thing that was helpful, it was not, okay, I'll come to the challenge, but one thing that was helpful is the network that I had built from my previous experiences up to this point.
Yeah,
I think the support that the network offered me at the beginning, especially with Table, was amazing. I was so overwhelmed when I just got this role. But the initial support I got from these experiences I've had with people prior to this role. And that was, I'd always be grateful for that. But I think one challenge is really acceptance outside of that network. And again, trust. Because it's one thing for people to know that you exist, is another for them to trust that what you're doing is valid or it's right. So whether it's in Kresh or whether it's in Table, just building that trust sometimes can be a challenge. It will take multiple meetings maybe for just to build on trust alone. Talk less of getting them to buy into your product or to buy into your service. The other is recognizing value for money. I think because it's so easy to get maybe cheaper alternatives, people always assume cheaper is
good.
Cheaper is the only definition of how, I don't even know how to put it, but everything cheap is not everything good.
No.
Things are expensive because people put a lot of quality and a lot of time into what they're offering you. So getting people to recognize that cheap does not equate to good is also a challenge, because you need to know that, okay, I'm offering you, so let's say for Kresh, at some point for maybe a year or two, I was actually selling at a loss because I just wanted to build that trust with people. I wanted people to understand why they should use my product. And even though the cost of things were skyrocketing, the price of my product remained the same. And what I try to do is substitute with ingredients that I could find around the house. So let's say instead of buying 100% aloe vera gel, I would source the aloe vera that I had in the house. But again, that's time and labor and effort. That's not being accounted for. So I think those were initially the thing. And when it comes to the tech scene, the assumption usually is that, the assumption used to be that it was an area for guys, an area for men. But I think that's changing now. It's getting much better. It's not as bad as it used to be. So most people would expect that I would mention that as a challenge, but I try not to let that define this journey that I'm in. So whether you think I'm, male or female, it doesn't really matter to me, as long as you're able to help me, help the company grow. But there have been some challenges, but I think these were the main ones. Just trying to get people to trust the service, trying to help them recognize that there is value for money, that what we're asking you to pay for is the value of the product as best as we can offer it. But I think those were the main ones.
And I think another
the usual is access to finance when it comes to Gambia, and just access to data as well, information generally. Sometimes it's hard. if I remember, I was trying to get information. That's then when I was starting Kresh. I was trying to get information on how much soap, let's say, gets imported into Gambia and what the value of those are and things like that. It was hard getting some of those numbers. So just getting data, in fact,
it's difficult.
Is a headache.
Trust me.
And this applies to both Kresh and Table. Getting data is something else. But yeah, those are a few of the challenges.
And just to follow up on that, because I like how you mentioned that there was something that you said that I don't really like the definition of tech being a male-dominated field. Define what I wrote as far as you're able to do and capable of doing the work. And I think that's one thing many people tend to gender bias it and say, okay, ladies this, but the fact that you narrowed it down to say it's not about just gender. Yes, there might have been equality and everything. But as far as you can deliver and you're treated equally to do your work, I don't think there's any sort of a challenge which can actually stop or dim your light. So amazing.
I find with that particular thing, I find that the more you dwell on something like that, a challenge, especially about something you cannot change. I cannot change the fact that I'm born female. I cannot change the fact that I am in tech. I cannot change that. So I think once you stop dwelling on these things that you cannot change, it helps you cope better. So maybe that's what maybe that's what's happening to me. I don't know, but I honestly try not to see that as a challenge for me. It's, of course, sometimes you can, when you go to or meet certain people, you sense a bit of hostility. You sense that, but I would never allow myself to feed on that. When I'm in public spaces, I try not to allow that. Otherwise, you'll just lose your mind.
Honestly, trust me, because it's amazing. Like I would have just wanted to follow up on that because I've been on a male-dominated field and I see how actually that can. But if you're tending to dwell on it, you tend to just I think it's a limiting factor rather than a factor that is supposed to push you. To me, I feel it's the factor that is to push you is to make sure that you are showcasing that you are good enough to be there. That to me, So I just want to follow up on that because I think we have about a few more minutes. But but even like before that, so another thing that I wanted us to just follow up on, because I know despite the challenges, you've achieved like a significant success with Kresh and Table. For instance, like. Well, how has your faith helped you to overcome like the obstacles and like where were the moments that you saw like prayers were answered or in an unexpected way, basically?
Yeah, I think that has been with me throughout. I know. So when I was starting Kresh, and even my first day at Table, I would say I got in there with God because as I got to the door, the first thing I did was prayed. Before I sat on a seat, the first thing I did was prayed. I was marching around with my anointing oil. I'm sure if somebody saw me, they'll be like, what? But yeah, I mean, because I was like, this is a new this is new for me, Lord, and I cannot do this without you. I don't want to start without you. So I had to make sure that when I was entering that space, I had to make sure that I'm entering with him. And even though it's challenging, as is any work, but I think the main way that he's been present is trying to maintain my how do I put this?
Your mental state.
Yes. Yes, that's it. Because things can happen so quickly, and you can be so tempted to say, I can do this by myself, that my strength is enough. But you need to get to positions where you recognize that your strength is not going to, by yourself, your physical strength is not going to pull you through certain things. And I recognize places and times where he's the one that has pushed me through mentally and otherwise. Even when it comes to projects being submitted, I'll pray over them before.
Honestly.
It's funny, I'm saying this because nobody knows, but now they know. But I'll be praying over projects, even when we don't get it. I'm like, still, that will go with God. So, but I mean, because you have to keep grounded and you have to remain in your faith, because things will come across you that you're like, nah, I can't do this by myself. Even the same with Kresh. When Kresh was starting, it's the same thing. I had to pray over the business. Even when we were expanding, trying to add new products as well, I had to really be conscious of things that I should add or who I should work with in terms of partnerships and things like that. And I've been fortunate enough where both Kresh and in Table, we've won awards in this short time that it's been on the ground. Kresh, in its way, has been fortunate enough to participate in trainings where it resulted in some financial support. Not the biggest, but at least it put us in different positions. The same with Table. The first year that I was with Table, we won quite a number of awards as well. And it keeps growing and we keep getting recognized. And I know that is not just the effort of the team, which is something that's important.
Yeah.
But I also recognize the presence of God in all of that.
Wow. It's, one thing I would encapsulate your journey is one that is selfless, because in everything that you're doing, there is always an agenda for the greater good. Agenda to actually, not just for myself. I'm not looking at it, you could have said, because I know someone would say, I'm a CEO now. It could make you pompous. It could change your, demeanor and start this and this. But the fact that there is always that mentality for service. What is it can we offer more? And I think that is one of the things that God sees in the heart of a man, because your service is beyond what you render to people. It's actually how you serve him personally and what the agenda is, because he's the one that sees the heart. And that is how the recognitions comes. Because sometimes when I hear about the awards, like some of the awards that you received, and I'm like, God, she is one person that deserves this, and that's why it's coming her way. Because it's not just, sometimes people see a person emerging just because, she is gaining all these awards. What of the work that they have put in the past few years? What was your journey like? Because someone that has been with you, and I know many people that have worked and have stayed with you or live with you or have associated with you could testify of the work that you're doing, the selflessness of the work, and it's beyond what you have now. It started way far off before this. So just to conclude this, I just wanted you to just maybe give a final word to someone that is listening, maybe a young girl, maybe might be in tech at the moment, or even starting a business, a small business, and it's like, I'm not able to do this. This is what the challenges in Gambia might be, or in any other country that the person is listening from. What is your last final words of prayer or encouragement that you would have for them?
I think the first thing is don't look down on yourself. Don't think everybody else should get something great except you. You are worthy to get that something great. It is yours. It is you are equipped to get that something great. So whether you're female or whether you're small or whether you're young or whether you're in a disadvantaged society, it doesn't matter. You deserve to be great and you deserve to get that.
Do, and the encouragement, even when you were encouraging and saying that don't look down on yourself, like it's just spectacular that one of those things is what keeps most people on halt. So just continue from where you were, like.
I think because that's something that I had challenges with, that's why it's the first thing that came to my mind. Because sometimes your biggest enemy is yourself, whether in terms of what you can do or the change that you can effect or even just being boggled down by fear. I know I've had to fight that a lot to get myself out of that state. But just recognize your strength, first of all. You have the power to change your life, whether in a small way, whether in a big way. But always recognize your worth in everything that you're doing. Be a person of integrity in the things you're doing. You might not see the result immediately, but things will always fall into place for you. If there's any area that you wish to venture in, especially if it's in technology, the world is your oyster, as they say. You are not limited now. There's so many online free programs that you can join to just get a basic understanding, especially when it comes to programming and the like. There's so many associations or clubs that are sprouting up now that are just being set up to help you or to mentor you or to guide you in these areas. So all the resources that you require are available. Don't be scared to ask for help. I think that's one thing we are not always good at, asking for help. But there was a time where that help was not available, and now you have all the resources you require. So just ask for help, and
Wow. Thank you so much. It's a privilege and an honor to have you in our midst, Kumbale. The work, just having another a conversation, having this conversation, and to anyone that is listening could sense what I am telling them. She is one that is exceptional with her work, not just that, her selfless nature, the character, the sincerity in the things that she does is spectacular and world commendable. It's just spectacular. That's all I can say to anyone that is listening. Please, final words. Please just, you see, as you're seeing the description, don't just look at the description. Please go support the amazing work that she's doing. It will go a long way in just not just the encouragement, but the support is necessary because they're doing exceptional work, and it's geared towards not just we're serving the people, but it's also a way of advancing our country to make sure that it's not just geared toward cash, but we are doing things that the West is doing here, going to somewhere and you just pay using table, it makes things more easy. People like me that love my life easy, so thank you. It's an honor.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
Bless you.
Thank you. Have a good one.
You too, my dear. Bye. Right. Thank you for joining us today. I believe you have been blessed by this episode. The greatest decision that you can do for yourself is journey in the family of God. And to do this, please do take this prayer out with me. Oh Lord God, I believe with all my heart in Jesus Christ, Son of the living God. I believed he died for me and God raised him from the dead. I believe he's alive today. I confess with my mouth that Jesus Christ is the Lord of my life from this day. Through him and in his name, I have eternal life. I am born again. Thank you, Lord, for saving my soul. I'm a child of God now. Congratulations. If you've said this prayer, please do contact us on illuminatedpathwaypodcast@gmail.com, or you can just send us a message via our Instagram page. God bless you.